Hello and welcome to the season one finale of the weekly live experience or the weekly live show, the Inside the Lab weekly live show. Hello and welcome. Again, it's the end of one. It's the end of this season's story, right? And the beginning of many more. As a tech creator, right? As a tech creator here on YouTube, I've had the glorious opportunity and pleasure of engaging with the community every week for the last year. And as a collective, we've inspired, assisted, and encouraged viewers from all over the globe, right, as we explore the conversation as PC gamers and enthusiasts in a way that's all inclusive, right? No player in the wild. But we're closing the curtain on the show, upgrading the ride, and enhancing the experience and what it means to create live content within the tech space exclusively right here on YouTube. That is what we are discussing in this live stream, while of course answering any and all of your questions along the way. If this is your first time here, if you're a first time viewer, welcome to the channel. I'm Terrence, your host and operator of this here ride. And to take your experience as a PC gamer to the next level, I welcome you to click the join button down below and sign up as a channel member. Join the club as a channel member. You can find all of those helpful links down in the description box below. But that is what we are talking about during this special, I guess you could say, anniversary like live stream, and that is celebrating. In a way, we are celebrating the end of one one form of content here on the channel and the beginning of another, and that is closing the curtain on season one here of the live show and preparing to launch season two of the live show, which I am super excited to do. Like, I cannot wait until we roll the season two of the live stream. But let me jump over here in the chat here really fast, which I'm getting some weird messages from YouTube. So if the stream, excuse me, goes out, it just is what it is. We're going to keep on rocking and rolling. But I see we have Sparta Rules is in the house. Sparta Rules says, "What's up, brother? It's good to see you. It's good to see you, brother Ant. As always, thank you for tuning in, and joining us. Man, I thought I was going to be able to talk, but that's what happens when you miss one week. We had to reschedule the live stream last weekend due to the Hurricane Ida that was just ravishing the East Coast over here. I know we don't have a lot of we have a lot of, I should say, West Coast viewers, but over here on the East Coast, if you've lived on this side, like in the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, or even Florida and Louisiana, then you know that Ida has done quite a bit of work in your area, and I hope everyone is safe and you were able to, evacuate and those individuals get help. It wasn't as bad here as in our area, but aside from power outages and spotty network issues, and again, I have Comcast, which run their cables below the ground, so that the flooding also affected the network stability. So I just thought it was in the best interest to reschedule the live stream until now. Ida's come and gone, and here we are for our weekly live show. So we're going to jump right into it because I want to share some of the, I guess you could say, historical facts about the live show, if you will, here. And it didn't officially become branded some 20, 30 episodes in. I believe we talked about that during the anniversary live stream, the 1 year, or yeah, the 2 year anniversary live stream. We talked about how the live show didn't get its official branding and or the official name some 20 episodes in the season, and that was, I decided to call it the live experience because I wanted it to be an experience. I wanted it to be something even different from a podcast, right? I wanted it to be an all-inclusive interactive experience where I can engage with members of the community here in real time. Shout out to my replay viewers. If you're watching this live stream on the replay, do let me know down in the comment section below with hashtag replay fam. Shout out to you. And at any point, if you have any questions or comments about all of the juicy details I'm going to drop at any point in this live stream, do let me know with the timestamps also down in the comment section below. I also see we have Brother Cliff is in the house. It's good to see you, Brother Cliff. Brother Cliff is a channel member. Again, I shout out to all of our channel members. The channel membership shout outs are going to go into effect within the next month, and also as we change and as we convert and transition over into season two of the live show. and I cannot wait to start to get that going. But first and foremost, shout out to all of the channel members who are here present, and if you haven't yet signed up, again, I welcome you to take your experience as a PC gamer and subscriber here at Inside the Lab to the next level. Unlock exclusive content and get closer to myself and the community in general by becoming a channel member. We have categories and tiers for all sizes and different budgets. It's also good to see TMZ. TMZ says, hello everyone, it's good to see you. Mr. Zombified, welcome, welcome, welcome to the season one. Welcome to the season one finale of the live show. It's a bittersweet moment, and I cannot wait to share some of the facts that I kind of just was holding on to this moment. But it's good to see you, TMZ. And Last Rights is good to see you as well. Last Rights is checking it. It's good to see you, Last Rights, as always. As always. Cliff says, what happened? Did the stream stop? Are you guys running into interference on your end? Mrs. Mod, do let me know. Um, I am getting some weird messages here over on YouTube, and it's not updating on my end, but I have Mrs. Mod looking into it and keeping me posted and updated of any issues on the viewers end. Super important before we even get started and really truly jump into it. TMZ off the bat says congrats and good luck on the new endeavor. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey TMZ, the live show has been made possible by viewers like you. Viewers like WASD Moves and Sparta Rules, Last Rights, right? TMZ, all of you guys and gals, just I'm leaving out a lot of people, but all of you in the Discord, shout out to the Converse community, our Discord community. The live show has been made possible by viewers like you. Aside from even your monetary contributions, just your time alone has allowed the live show to grow and develop into what it has become now, and what it's going to become here in the upcoming weeks. So the new endeavor is actually just season 2 of the live stream, if you will, and that's it's officially branded the Inside the Lab weekly live experience. But we're just sunsetting season 2. We're just sunsetting season 2. I'm sorry, season 1. What am I talking about? I told you I was going to try to do my best to actually talk during this live stream. But we're just sunsetting season 1, and we're going to jump in some of the key takeaways of this season. I've never the live show literally evolved over the time, over this past year. I've been sick on the live streams. I'm human, like you all here on the live stream. At least I hope we're all human, unless there's some machines. If you're a machine, shout out to you. Also, I just want to welcome you to hit the like button for me on your way in or on your way out if you're unable to stay for the full duration um, of the show. But I am human, and there's been times where either I was maybe it was experiencing some personal issues, or had some relationship issues, or what doesn't matter, what have you. Life happens, and when you're an adult, you know this especially to be true. So, but I kept powering on, and I'm proud to say that over the last 12 months, we've had at least 2 live streams a month. And while that may not seem like a lot compared to many, to most, it's a significant achievement. And I'm truly honored and blessed, fortunate to be able to have started this journey. I was always on the fence about live streaming. I was always on the fence about live streaming. It didn't happen until quite some time down the road, almost a year later. Um, on this creating content on this channel, like launching a live stream, it didn't happen off the bat. And if there's one thing I regret in that freshman period, or and over that time, is that I wish I would have done this much sooner, much sooner, much sooner. And that's grow, develop, build relationships with individuals much like those of you who are all present here right now, and those of you who are even watching on the replay. Our live streams don't get as many spins after it's been aired, but there are some views that come along after the fact. So shout out to our replay fam. Hopefully the conversation is engaging and informative enough to have earned your engagement, rather that be in the form of a like or a comment, or hopefully a subscription. Hopefully you'll join our community for live streams like this, and of course the launch of season 2. Last Right says, Working good here. Nice. Okay, that's good to know. Thanks for letting me know that last right. It looks like the problem is on my YouTube back end as it's not really updating. Like it's telling me it's not really updating, but it's all good. I can see the chat. I can engage. I can talk to the community. I can engage with the chat. That's all that matters to me the most is that I can engage with you, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. But to double back to what I was saying to kick it off or to kick off the season one finale, and that is we've done two live streams every month, or we ran at least two live shows every month since August of last year, right? And that's just an amazing feat, in my opinion, as a micro influencer, as a smaller channel. There's always a larger or smaller fish in the pond you wish to swim in. And I'm comfortable in this pond. I'm comfortable with slow growth. I'm comfortable with reaching out with similar and like minded individuals and growing and building a community of like minded individuals. So, definitely, if you haven't yet, sign up for our email list, which you can find the link in the description box below or even right here in the chat should you want to sign up for the list and just double right on back, or again at any point if you can't stay for the full duration, I totally understand. So I want to jump over and start with the first fun fact, whether you're a first time viewer or you've been around for a long time. But the first live stream, the first ever live stream, which is it was this thumbnail right here, but the first ever live stream aired on August 15th of 2020, and it was about configuring a $600 gaming PC. Now, that conversation isn't very evergreen because that system we configured last year, last August, you can't build for, or you can't build it at this price point or at this price category any longer. And that's simply because of the GPU situation, which continues to, well, rear its ugly head. It hasn't gone anywhere, and I read an interesting article that NVIDIA, or there were transcripts that indicated that the CEO for NVIDIA, Huang, has mentioned that they expect this issue to continue all the way into 2022. So, my estimation for it to course correct itself by March, April of next year, it could be a little off the mark, but hopefully my prediction will be half correct and the used market will improve by that time. But that first live stream, this live stream here, I wrestled back and forth with the idea. I wrestled back and forth with the thumbnail. Wrestled back and forth with the format. It was my first ever live stream in general. I went live over on Twitch, but it wasn't to an audience of this magnitude at the time when we first started live streaming. So I was on the fence about what the topic should be about, how long the live stream should be. Should I, what happens if I mess up? What happens if we have equipment failure? What happens if I forget to say something? Or what happens if I, say something wrong? Fam, 47 plus live streams into this, or that's just live shows. Altogether, I've done more live streams in general. Most of you know with our pop up live stream, which put that in your back pocket because you're going to need to pull it out here in a second. But 40 something plus live streams, and I still worry about those things. I still worry about hardware and equipment failure. I still worry about, the and the tendencies that I have, my ticks and my dialogue, because I go back and rewatch the live streams. Mrs. Mod could vouch, especially when I'm adding chapters to the live streams. I will go back and I will critique my performance on the live show, and I could just hear all the nuances, things that I don't even like. Maybe you guys and gals don't pick it up, but I hear things that even I don't approve for myself, and I'm just like, man, I got to stop doing this, and it could become a deterrent to want to continue to go live. But at this point, I didn't let that deter me. We started the first live stream, and I said this is going to be an ongoing process. The show will continue to develop over time, but you just have to jump right into it and get started. Oh, Cliff, shout out to Cliff for the $2 super chat. Hey, I appreciate that, Cliff. Cliff says, looking forward to season two with the Lab Fam. Yes, 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 absolutely. I look forward to it too. I cannot wait to to drop or to show all of the changes and just the content format. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want to save it for obviously the live stream or the season one launch, but season two launch. But most importantly, Cliff, I want to add, and to all our viewers here right now, channel members will be able to follow along that journey in real time. So if you want to see those changes and you want to see some of the different equipment and just the overall aesthetic changes in general, you should sign up to become a channel member, unlock that exclusive content. The channel members will be in the know and the first to know before the general audience finds out, our general subscribers, non-channel members. Again, there's a price tier for everybody. Cliff hits us again with another $2 super chat. Shout out to Cliff once again. Thanks, Cliff. Cliff says, also looking forward to your traditional vid content. Yeah, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit here, and but it will come up again because part of the taking advantage of the season one break or the short live stream break is to get back on a weekly video content schedule with high quality content, not just quantity over. I'm not a quantity over quality kind of guy anyway, but to launch quality weekly videos, still very much involving the highlights. But when the entire general aesthetic changes, so will the highlight structure. But there is one more highlight that will be released under this season's show format, and but again, the break, I want to get back to weekly videos. So definitely, Cliff, I appreciate the $2 super chat. Once again, super chats are not required, but totally appreciated. Small amounts add up in a really big way. You can drop a super chat right with the dollar sign in the chat below. But shout out to Han Slomo, who says, Han Slomo, what's up, fam? Hi, fam. I am late. Never late so long as you're here. And Han says, I just woke up. LOL. It's good to see you, Han. Han's our brother over on the other side of the world. And Han, it's morning time for Han. Han's going to be throwing down some breakfast while he joins us for the season one finale of the weekly live show. It's been one heck of a ride. I am so excited. You don't understand. It's like I need the time to for the show to convert over and make these changes and to set up the new hardware and set up the new gear and equipment. So I wish that time was now. Like I wish this was the season two, what would they call that? Launch, I guess you could say, episode launch. But it's good to see you, Han Slomo. We were talking about the first ever live stream, which, again, I didn't know how long I was going to go live. I didn't know how long or what was an appropriate time. I just had a plan. Most importantly, I definitely had a plan throughout the duration of the show. Like I had a format. I said, I know this is what I want to accomplish. This is how I want to begin the live stream. This is how I want to end the live stream. And I could tell you what, fam, the structure has remained the same since launch. Nothing has changed. Everything from the ticker down below to the overhead channel banner to the chat being where it is to the camera position on each of the scenes that I use, none of that has changed. It's all been the same. The show format, the way we start the show for the most part, the structure, how we present the content, and how it's presented to you, the audience, in terms of the aesthetics and some of the channel branding, all of it's remained the same. You've never seen a different background with the universal, PC Tech channel branding that's back there. You haven't seen different social media icons. The ticker down below has even remained the same. And this is over the course of 47 weekly live shows. Actually, 46. This live stream, the season one finale, actually makes 47. But this is over the course of our 47th live stream. And I tell you what, fam, let me switch back here, because when I say I want to switch back here, it's about to be fire, about to drop a bomb. But if you've had the opportunity to participate in any one of those 47 live shows. Hell, you could have joined us right here, and this could be your first time tuning into the weekly live show. It is very much still a part of our weekly live show. It's just traditionally built around a specific topic within the PC gaming niche, or, regarding PC hardware or certain actionable advice or tips for new and experienced enthusiasts and gamers. But this is what you see is what you get. The show format, the show format hasn't changed. 47 episodes, and if you've had the opportunity of taking part of just one of those, then you have invested in this growth. You are a part of the live stream growth and the growth of this live show. Hans Lomo says, "Yep, I wouldn't miss it, man. I'm so glad you came on. I'm so glad you joined us. I was actually, hoping and thrilled and excited to be able to communicate and engage with some of this show, some of our regular viewers here in this community, like, WASD Moves, TMZ, Last Rides, Han, Sparta Rules, just to name a few. And I know Tricion might pop in. It might be late or early where he's watching. So, hey Tricion, if you wherever you at, brother, hope all is going well with you. But if you've had the opportunity to take part as a viewer in any one of those 47 live shows, again, you are and have been a part of the live stream's growth. The first live stream was an hour and 50 minutes and 45 seconds to be exact. Like I wrote it down. I had to check and wrote it down because I'm like, I wasn't expected it to go that long. And every time I plan the live show, I try to, make it about an hour. We typically always go over because this live stream is like unlike most traditional live streams, or even what the YouTube gurus and coaches and experts teach you to not essentially interact with the comment section and to ask questions and welcome in viewers until the end. But for this live stream format, our live show, for the live experience, it's called the live experience for a reason, because I want to interact with you throughout the duration of the show. Also, I'm a big believer that if you have a pain point or a question you need answered, you maybe are unable to wait towards the end of the live stream or live show. So you may want to have your question asked at a specific moment or segment. Let's say I'm talking about motherboards, for example, and you may want to know what chipset was the best motherboard for a Ryzen, for a Ryzen 3600 or a 5600X. Instead of waiting toward the Q&A toward the back, you can maybe have your question answered right then and there. So if you have to leave, at least you're leaving with that value. You're still leaving with that bit of information you may have came into the conversation expecting to be able to ingest, to be able to help you solve a pain point. So again, if you've been present for at least one of those, kudos to you. Thank you. Pat yourself on the back. I got a special applause for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But the first live stream was an hour and 50 minutes. The longest live stream. First and foremost, let me ask you here in the chat for those. So hear me out really fast here. Before I drop the bomb, let's play quick guessing games, because it'd be a little hard for you to solve this here on the live. You would have to like leave and go do a little research. But what's your best guess? One guess. What was the longest weekly live show before I tell you how long that was? Your best guess. Tell me what do you think the longest weekly live show was? Not our traditional, pop-up live streams where we've been playing Alien Isolation. No. Our actual live shows. What's the longest weekly inside the lab weekly live experience, a live show that we've had, that we've ran? I'm curious to see what some of your guesses are. So give me your best guess here in the chat. You can't cheat. That'd be a little hard to cheat, but give me your best guess in the chat. But I do want to point out, while some of you give me your guesses, that the emojis that Cliff dropped over in the chat earlier, the wow, fail, and those are all perks that are available to channel members. And I will add, and I have designed more custom emojis and gifts to add. The more channel members we add to the club, the more emojis and gifts I'm able to add. I believe up to like 5. I have to check our channel member um, back end to see where we're at. But yeah, if you want access to those features like exclusive content and of course loyalty badges next to your name, the loyalty badges is a progressive PC. You start all new members start out with just a base case, and then as you progress as a channel member, then you start to complete your build. After say 6 months or 12 months, your loyalty badge will have a complete PC. At least by complete, it can power on and play games. And with your 24 months, after 2 years as a channel member, I believe it's 24 months. After 2 years as a channel member, 24 months, you have a dual GPU high-end system. So really cool stuff. Check it out. So let's see what we got. All right, Cliff and TMZ, appreciate your guesses. Let me see. Excuse me. Cliff says 4.5 hours. TMZ says about 3 hours. Mrs. Mod drops a channel membership link. Yes, definitely sign up to become a channel membership to use cool gifs and emojis in the chat and also stand out amongst the general audience. But Cliff says 4.5 hours. TMZ says almost 3 hours. Okay, not bad guesses. I know we got a few people in the house watching. Drop your guesses. Let me know what's the longest live stream you've and your best guess that we've ran here on the channel. TMZ says if I say zero or 10, would I win? Negative, TMZ. I mean, it's definitely somewhere in between there. Excuse me, I do want to do a marathon stream maybe before the end of the year to see if I can maybe do a 12-hour stream. We'll start there, like a 12-hour stream. That's insane. But all right, so we had Cliff and TMZ. Thanks for your guesses. I appreciate you. So the longest live stream that we ran here on this channel was for 5 hours and 22 minutes. 5 hours and 22 minutes. Oh, see, Sparta Rules said, I don't know if you're in delay, but Sparta Rules, man, you're a little late with your guess, but you would have been close. You'd have been close. I would have sent you a virtual hug. Maybe I'll give you a video over on Twitter as you were the closest. Tech for Your Needs, it's good to see you, fam. Tech for Your Needs, I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see Tech for Your Needs. Thank you for tuning in for the season 1 finale of our live show here on the channel. But the longest live stream was for 5 hours and 22 minutes, and it was about 5 things you need to know before building a gaming PC in 2021. So given that title, right, the topic or that conversation at hand, one could imagine why that was the longest live stream. There were a few runner-ups, like at 5 hours. We have done a 4 hour and 58 minute live stream, just as a second runner-up to that time limit. But 5 hours and 22 minutes, almost 5.5 hours. That's a long time. That's the equivalent of at least watching Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame back to back, something along to that extent, with no breaks in between. That's just straight conversation. That's just straight dialogue. That's just straight talk. We do drop highlights, but remember, I leave the live streams up as they are so that in the event you want to go back and see how powerful, how potent that conversation was around that topic, you can experience that video or that live stream as it was. In my opinion, you have the benefit or the flexibility of being able to pause the live stream, because if it's a long live stream, even if it's a 2 hour live stream, 3 hour live stream, I myself like to consume long form content here on the platform when I'm watching for just pure entertainment and keeping up with like just YouTube news and things like that, or just other areas that I'm interested in. I like watching long form content. I'll throw on an hour live stream or a 2 hour show and do other things in the background, playing other videos, create thumbnails, respond to emails, design graphics or what have you. But with that conversation, 5 things to know before building a gaming PC, that conversation was lit, fam. 5 hours and 22 minutes of just straight dialogue and straight talking. And it's just one of the testimonies or testaments to the community, if you will, our community here on this channel. How each of us were able to add value to the conversation in some form. I don't have all the questions, fam. Or I'm sorry, I don't have all the answers, I mean. I don't have them all. But somewhere there could be someone that could help an individual, even if they're not part of this community. Maybe this can be the welcome mat for them to hit the subscribe button, to join as a channel member. Seeing that if Lab is unable to provide them with insightful, actionable tips and advice, especially if they're trying to resolve an issue with their hardware, it's not always related to building a, I want to build a new gaming PC. How do I find a graphics card? We also have to keep in mind that there are new enthusiasts in the niche or in the community as well who could very much run into these same issues and problems and could need help along the way. This was the thumbnail for those of you who just joined us for the first ever live stream that we did. And this was the live stream that I was just referring to. That was 5 hours and 22 minutes long, or at least this was the thumbnail. I was going to like review each live stream, but I thought that'd have been too much. Plus, we did something similar to that with the 2 year anniversary live stream we did. So that video still very much is super entertaining. It is in an hour long, but it's very much unlike the traditional weekly live streams that we've done here in the past. So I highly recommend you give that video a watch, as it also highlights the future of the channel. And this was just in April, because the channel anniversary, like the month that I formed the channel and started content here, uploading content, I started with a big old goose egg, a big old zero across the board. In terms of subscribers, I just started at 0. I think I might have been my own first subscriber. Mrs. Mod might have been the second. My mom might have been, my first 10 people were just people who I knew, who I can just share without any content. And then the first video hit the channel on April 27th. And then here we are, quite naturally. But this conversation at 5 things that you should know before building a gaming PC in 2021 could help so many people, so many different enthusiasts and gamers, regardless of their tier or their level, if you will. I say tier because I'm thinking of the channel memberships, but regardless of their comfortability with working within their hardware, that conversation could help them. They could be on the fence and maybe be presented with value that they maybe didn't think about or consider. Cliff says, I thought it was the New Year stream. No. So the New Year stream kind of talked about the just the year. I believe we recapped the year during the New Year stream, which the New Year's Eve, the New Year stream has also been left up as is as well. It more so recap some of the biggest moments of the year, but because the channel anniversary runs like 12 months, it's from April to April. So that's the New Year's Eve stream was kind of like halfway in, I guess, in the middle of the complete anniversary year. But in the year 2 anniversary live stream, that's where that's where I did every blooper for the first 50 videos, I believe it was, or 60 videos. Man, that anniversary live stream was super fun to produce. I highly recommend you give it a watch. I'm not even going to give too much away right now. Just know that it's about an hour long and it's not presented in even this format. It's a totally different experience within itself, as that's what it was designed to do. Cliff says, I seen your $60 case review. I think it was done really well. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And Cliff is referring to the Montag X1 case review. I published that video about a couple days ago, and or about, I believe it was last week. And essentially, long story short, with that video is that that's actually the case my daughter picked out for her system or her build. She was actually using the Leanne Lee open test bed case that I had did videos on a while ago, and she finally wanted a home case for her system. So I told her where her configuration was and what her specs in terms of her motherboard form factor, and she picked that case out herself, bought it with her own money, and I just did the conversion for her. But I know there were other options available at that price point. But for a case with RGB, again, it's powered by Molex. The temperatures weren't bad at all. They were actually better than even what I expected. So definitely give that video a watch if you haven't seen it yet. You can find it in the most recent upload or most recent playlist down in the description box below. And Cliff says, think you would do similar stuff in the future. Case reviews, absolutely. In fact, I want to do live. Okay, I'm going to do it because you guys are so awesome. It's because you guys are so awesome, I'm going to do it. But that's some of the upcoming content changes with the live stream, because I actually want to do live reviews on top of normal VODs or video on demand, because as much as I love going live, I also still very much enjoy, editing and, shooting content and shooting videos in a story like with a story like formula attached to it, packaged or just in a well packaged sandwich, if you will. So I very much still enjoy that, and you can't really do that with a live video. You can of course enhance the quality of the stream by adding graphic visuals and audio cues, but nothing like editing raw video. So when it comes to more detailed hardware or a CPU motherboard combination or legacy hardware, I do want to get back into reviewing more legacy hardware, because like the X5675, I still get a lot of comments on that video. And I look back at that video and I said, I was so new to the game when we published that video. I was so new to the game that I look back and I kind of cringe at it. I'm like, this video performs really well by today's standards. It performs really well, but man, oh man, was I in my very, very, very much early rookie days, and that was the first time I shared my content with a larger YouTuber. That's Brian over at Tech Yes City, and he reached out to me on Twitter and subscribed to the channel. So that video, though, I would like to redo that video or revisit that topic. So X5675 and or X79 may very much start rolling back into the content strategy, as the newer stuff, it's great. It's great. It's fantastic, but there's still that hidden value, that hidden price to performance over on the used market when you step it back a few generations, or most importantly, saving you time and money. And that's you the viewer who's out there, either right now you know somebody that's like that, or you are the viewer and you made it this far in the replay, and that's you. But maybe you are considering older legacy hardware to maybe circumvent the GPU situation. Even then, what's a good modern GPU to pair with the legacy hardware, older hardware? All these questions and more is what I want to get back into, because the used market is what inspired me to create content. And that's when my very first video, see, we did talk about this on that anniversary live stream. We did talk about the very first video I published on this channel. And that was during a used parts run, a used parts haul, where I picked up a PSU, which I'm embarrassed to say I still have officially used it. I've tested it and tested it again with a different setup and configuration, and never pulled it back out of the out of its carrying case since then. But that's subject to change as we round out the year with more content incoming. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But I do want to do similar review videos like that in the past, especially with case reviews and shorter formats that are easier to again ingest and get the value quick and fast in a hurry. But I do like telling stories. I fancy myself an amateur storyteller. I do like telling stories. I actually do science fiction writing as well. But the goal is trying to be able to tell a cohesive story in a shorter amount of time versus telling a story over, say, a 25-minute long video down to a 7 to 8 minute long video. Cliff says, was talking with Triceon about a vid like that. What would it take to play the top 10 most played games with as far as minimum specs, etc.? Bought it up because the new Tales of Arise comes out in a few days. but it's still playable with a CPU from 2012 and a GPU from 2013. Okay, so I'll try to answer the first part of that statement question, and that's where Cliff says, what would it take to talking to Trisound about a video like that? What would it take to oh, the chat just jumped on me. What would it take to play the top 10 most played games? I guess it depends on where I would pull that data from in terms of the top 10 most played games. As of right now, I typically revisit the Steam survey. I understand it's not all inclusive and it's not indicative of all users, even registered on Steam, because it is a voluntary survey that you can, you know, and you can opt in or you can opt out of. But I will kind of get a gist of what's the most popular games being played at the moment, as that's a good indicator for me as to what types of hardware configurations that the general audience could be targeting or looking for. Now, let's use your game that my apologies, I'm unfamiliar with it. I will look into it at the conclusion of the show at some point during this weekend, but let's use Tales of Arise for an example. If that was in the top 10, then I would look at the minimum required specs to run that game. As you said, it's playable with a CPU from 2012 and a GPU from 2013. But if there's recommended specs, then that's what I would target, because at the end of the day, I want you to get the best value for your money as a PC gamer, but also the most performance for your money, which is essentially the same thing as value for your money. But if you are the type of gamer that wants to experience the game in maybe the highest possible fidelity, or you want a higher FPS for a higher or faster monitor or faster panel, then you may want to try to push for beyond the minimum specifications for this game. Let's use Tales of Arise for example once again. So if the recommended specs are, say, a 6700K and let's say a GTX 980 Ti or GTX 980, then trying to configure a system somewhere within those hardware limitations would be my first recommendation for a game in the top 10. So it could depend on the type of gamer you are, the way you want to experience and play your games. If you can, target the recommended versus the minimum. But that is something that am definitely open to doing more of. Again, discussions like that will be had over in the community tab for channel members to provide that level of feedback. As Cliff says, like with X CPU and Y GPU, you could have made the minimum requirements for the for the top 10 most played PC titles. Okay, that's actually not a bad idea, and I totally get what you're saying in terms of having a certain CPU and GPU that could play the 10 most played games over the last couple of years. Games like GTA 5, right? Come on, that's super popular. Fortnite, that's super popular, has been played a lot here over the last few years. PUBG, um, Tales of Arise, let's use that game for example. CS:GO. So when I'm looking at budget-oriented hardware, I try to target those games that have had this level of longevity, that's been relevant for this long. Because if it had interest for 2 years, 3 years ago, it's likely to still very much retain that level of interest 2, 3 years in the future. So you're absolutely right. It's about configuring or having a configuration that's going to be able to play the games of the old in the future and beyond. Because as the game's lifespan, you know, progresses, the game could become harder to run, or a little less, or a little more clunky as drivers update and mature and what have you, and be optimized for newer games. Okay, fourth generation i5 and 750 Ti is recommended. So I would likely imagine that's probably minimum specs, with the 750 Ti only having 2 GB of dedicated VRAM. I wonder if that's 1080p low settings with that configuration. So Again, if you say, well, no, I don't want to, I want to play, I want to get a little bit more graphic fidelity or a little bit more fidelity out of my games. I more so want to try to play the game at 1080p, at least high settings. So that will put you out of that, that puts you out of that 750 Ti, out of that 750 Ti, and closer to say an RX 570 or a 1650 Super or a GTX 780, right? Somewhere along the lines of a GPU, somewhere along the lines of there, or GPU that has more VRAM that allow you to play the game at a higher settings. Might be able to pass at 1080p, but that's certainly with low settings. But thanks for sharing that though, Cliff. Awesome recommendation, and I appreciate the feedback. And that's something I will definitely explore. And that's trying to eh, not necessarily come up with a universal configuration. We know that's a challenging task to undertake because the budget could be very much different for each and every single one of us. The level of expectation or how we want to run our games could also very much be very different between one of us. Remember, one of the beautiful things about PC gaming is that we are all able to project our own personalities onto our systems from the way they look and from the way they will perform. If you want to play at 4K max settings, then you're likely in a higher price category versus somebody who just wants to play their games at 1080p low settings, for example, where they can get by with a 750 Ti, an RX 560 or an RX 460, a lower end GPU, which would make your system a little bit more on the lower end side, as you wouldn't have a little bit on the lower end side. I'm sorry, as you wouldn't have a demand for a beefy power supply unit, right? 300 watts, 400 watts, somewhere along the lines there, no more than 450 watts, depending on what the GPU is and what the CPU is. If it's an unlocked CPU or if it's a locked CPU, can you overclock it? You might want to take all of those things into consideration. No, it's not spam. This is what the live show is about. This is what the live show is about, Cliff. It's about this level of live interaction and engagement. I mean, this is what it's all about. This is what the live show has always been about over this length in time and length of period. All 47 live streams. This is what it's always been about. This level of engagement, talking with one another, adding value to the conversation. There's no such thing as a dumb question. There's not even no such thing as a dumb answer. You can't know everything. Even if you think you do, part of the learning process is learning the things you don't know, or correcting the stigmas you might have had and improving on them, and improving your knowledge base. But no, it's not spam. We've had spam. Did I say that right? We've had spam here on the show. We've had trolls, and I'm not gonna say I'm okay with the trolls. I might talk them up. They might be, lurking or might pop in now. But you know, I I'm okay with trolls. It is what it is. It's part of it comes with the territory of being a YouTuber or just creating content on any social media platform. There's trolls on Twitch, there's trolls on Facebook Live, there's trolls over on Twitter. It's just part of, being a creator on the internet in general. I have a personal saying. I could say the trolls, you guys and gals, y'all are welcome to come in. If you don't want to add to the conversation, that's your loss. Can't be a consumer in this world. You also have to be a producer. Okay? So the trolls can come to the table. They can come to the table. But I'm not going to feed you, right? I'm not going to feed you. But we have been trolled. We've had the emoji troll. We've had an individual come in with, with names because I read the names back to all of the viewers. So they came in with provocative names, and inappropriate names because, again, this is a family-friendly environment. But they've come in with inappropriate names and tried to get me to read them back. And because I'm so into the live show and to delivering the content for the community, I don't stop and process the actual name. I just read it back. But on that particular day, that troll came through, and that's okay because if you just want to come in and be uh, that negative factor, then that's on you. You just won't eat from this table, but you are welcome to sit down. So spam and troll is part of the process. But no, Cliff, you're definitely not spam. But Cliff says, let me get caught up in the chat here really fast. As Cliff says, spam over, but just crazy how little you actually need to get games running, even at minimum, even at a minimum experience. Yeah, and especially if you're on, say, an older laptop without dedicated graphics. One tip that we've been giving to users here in this community is to consider lowering your resolution down to 720p. Maybe even you might even got to go a little lower. Me personally, that's not playable, and what I would recommend is try to save up a little bit more, invest in a little bit more, and upgrade areas of your system that's going to bring performance enhancing, or that'll introduce performance enhancing upgrades. Try to change your system in that format, because it wouldn't be very playable to me. But even the most current of games can be ran on potatoes. Dare I say it? I don't. Excuse me. Got choked up because I don't really say it that much anyway. I don't use the term potato because I mean I would welcome all builds if your build is not as high end as what we're used to, or what you as a user may see within the community or other groups, then that's okay, fam. Let's get the most out of that potato. Let's try to find ways how we can improve your system, even if it's on the smallest and tiniest of budgets. And if that's you and you're here, shoot me a DM, right? You should be following me on Twitter and Instagram at Inside the Lab YT. But let's switch back over here. We were talking about the longest live show, which again was 5 hours and 22 minutes long. It's insane. It's incredible. Uh, let alone doing live streams. But on top of that, a 5 hour live stream. I thought an hour when I would watch other creators go live, and I would notice that they would go live for like an hour or more. I would think, like I said, wow, that's a long time. That's the equivalent of some of your favorite shows that are on syndication right now, about an hour long. Not your Family Guys and things like that, which are about 22 minutes long, which is still a very much long. That's a long time, but an hour, that's a show. There's ads. There are ads. Sorry, I thought I could talk, but there are ads ran on the live streams. But it's like a show without a commercial break, if you will. So an hour is a long time. So 5 hours and 22 minutes, never would imagine um, that I would be able to provide or be entertaining enough to provide the community with enough value in this form with live content. Because again, no matter how many shows I do, no matter how many times I've gone live, I still get that, butterfly in your stomach like sensation the moment before I click go live. And I hear this amongst the creator community. I've heard this be referenced by other creators, that even ones much larger than myself, who experience that same sensation and that same feeling, and they've done hundreds of live streams, collaborated with other creators or on their own platforms. They've done plenty of live streams, but still very much find themselves nervous, because Murphy's Law, y'all, tells you that if something can go wrong, then it can or it will. If anything could possibly go wrong, then it can or it will. That is Murphy's Law. So doing a 5 hour live stream, so many different things could have happened. My webcam could have overheated. My system could have overheated. I could have fell asleep. Uh, the internet could have went out mid sentence. Just to have the show run flawlessly for that long, just told me, at least I told myself, that one, we could do this longer, so long as there's enough value being presented and it's meaningful value, then we can push longer. We could do a 10-hour marathon long live stream, either for charity or to bring awareness to a cause, to celebrate a subscriber live stream marathon. Doesn't matter. We can do it for twice as long. Twice as long. And again, that's something that I would be interested in doing before the end of the year. So again, do keep a lookout for that notification. But The weekly live show will go on a 2.5. Let me switch back here to say this because this is a core part of this whole transition from wrapping up the season one finale and transitioning over to the launch of season two. But the weekly live show, that's the branded weekly live show, will go on a 2.5 week break. So that's about 2 Saturdays or 2.5 Saturdays, and will remain on Saturdays. That much I will tell you. The time has been an ongoing struggle, and I just can't find a balance between what works for the community and what also provides the highest rate of engagement in terms of viewership. So that's an ongoing struggle, and that's something I will continue to explore and test. But one thing I will admit that getting more consistent with the times will likely help with the audience's expectation in terms of you will know they say, hey, Lab, yeah, he goes live every Saturday. He has his weekly live show every Saturday. If you don't get the notification or you're not signed up for our email insider list, you may not be notified of the live stream, but you do know that even as a subscriber, you can always double back and check for the notification for the live stream because we go live every Saturday. The time may change. I may need to flex it depending on what I may have going on that Saturday. Saturday is sometimes the day where I try to, or not even try to, is the day I run most or a lot of my errands on that day, especially for domestic needs for my household. Saturdays are typically the day I try to knock out a lot of those um, tasks to open up the weekend to create content, prepare for the live stream, or just play games because I'm a gamer. I'm a PC gamer, sure, but at the end of the day, I'm a gamer. And there's nothing more than I enjoy aside from creating content, aside from going live like we are here now. There's nothing more than I enjoy, most importantly, than playing games. Okay? A little bit of game here, speaking of games. I'm super introverted, y'all. And most introverts love playing games, right? They can get their sheer level of entertainment and satisfaction doing exactly what they enjoy doing from the comfort of their home. So I love, love, love gaming. That's still my favorite pastime and present time. Like I love gaming. So the weekend is when I typically like to open that up. But to double back to the core of where I was monologuing, and that is the live show will remain on Saturdays. That will not change. They still will remain every Saturday unless they are flexed to a different day. Um, but as it stands, the day of the weekly live show will remain the same. The time, I will say, I'm targeting for a little later in the day. That seems to work better. I've tried to do a poll in the past. Maybe I will do another poll to kind of kick the wheels a little bit and see what level of interest I can spark from the community to get an idea, or at least a better idea of what may work for the majority of the community. But I understand it's not going to work for everybody. But again, thank goodness for the replay. If you can't make the live show, do know that your replay view very much helps push the message and the mission. So even if you can't join us live, definitely very much head back, double back, check out the replay, definitely give it a like and say, hey Lab, hashtag I'm here on the replay, sorry I missed the live, what I miss. I couldn't watch the whole stream. Is there any key takeaways? Are there going to be any highlights? All that good stuff. Double back and check out the live stream. That level of engagement still helps. It helps with the lifespan of the show, and it helps get it out in front of more eyes when you're able to do that. Cliff says cardboard box. Cardboard box. I put a banger on Twitter yesterday. Lab was proud. Yeah, it was great. In fact, I'll see if I can bring it up here really fast. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I gotta go over to my Twitter a little bit here and find it. All right, here we go. Let's see. How can I? All right, there we go. Nope. Okay. I'm going to bring it up here. Let me switch. Just give me a minute because I have to have to select that window. All right, here we go. So here's my Twitter. And here's the video that Cliff is referring to. Let me know if there's a weird echo on the audio. But this is this is Cliff's cardboard box, because there's a long running gag here. When my first couple videos I started creating was an open air test bed, and I just used a cardboard box, and I thought that cardboard box was one of the best things. It was all reliable, non-conductive, flat surface, super steady, and I used a cardboard box for the longest time, and I still to this day recommend you use a cardboard box if you're testing your hardware. Or if you're an enthusiast who just likes to tinker, right? You could also just like to tinker. Most of us have multiple systems or multiple hardware configurations, if you will. I don't know if it. Let me see if you guys. I don't think you guys have audio. Give you guys audio. All right.
Ready to test this hardware.
Now you guys should
We're
have
inside
audio.
the lab. No, wait a minute. No, we're not inside the lab. But we have the state-of-the-art test bench set up here. Cardboard box.
That's an A3.
We're
No.
pulling no punches here. We're getting ready to throw down that massive knock to a cooler and see if we can't test this hardware out. Let's go.
Hey. Solid job, Clifford. Cliff
All
also had
right,
this one.
she's alive, but yeah, don't tell Lab, but this is the most ghetto setup ever. I'll never hear the end of it.
I said no, man. Ghetto is good. It looks
All
good,
right,
man. I love
she's
the
alive,
setup.
but,
I love the
yeah,
love
don't
the
tell
aesthetics,
Lab,
man.
but this is the most ghetto setup ever. I'll never hear the end of it.
10900K box there and all that beautiful Noctua cooler.
All
So
right.
yeah, awesome stuff there. And again, if you're not following me on Twitter, you should be following me over on Twitter. What you waiting for? Join the Twitter fam at Inside the Lab YT. Good stuff. So shout out to Cliff again. That is what Cliff was referring to down in the chat below. But Cliff, I'm not sure if you shared that in the Discord, but definitely make sure you share that over for the. Thank you for the sharing that over. Make sure you're sharing that over in the Discord, so that the Discord fam can see that as well, in case they're not over on Twitter. The goal is to get as many of the core audience into the Discord. If you're not signed up for our Discord, it's behind a paywall. And I remember all 47 up till maybe a few live streams ago, I was telling you hey, you're gonna want to sign up for the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter if you want to join the Inside the Lab Discord. You're gonna have to sign up for the newsletter. Maybe during some anniversary live streams, I'll drop the link in the chat just randomly. But as it stands right now, it's one of the core tiers you get after you sign up for the novice builder level over on channel membership. So you can sign up to become a channel member and get instant access, among other things, like the live chat and the upcoming brother show. And that's what we talked about in the channel membership live stream we did. If you're like, what are channel memberships, and you weren't there for it, I highly recommend you watch that conversation, as it takes the value expectations of channel memberships to the next level. But it's one of the benefits to being a master builder with channel memberships, and that's the brother live stream that we're going to launch. That will be only master builders will be able to call in. It's going to be a call-in live show. So master builders will be able to call in, come on screen, show their system, brag about their system, do what you want with, within the scope of making sure it's, again, lab level appropriate. But all channel members will be able to comment in the live chat. It'll be it'll be viewable to the general audience, right? This is still very much an all-inclusive channel, or content, if you will, right? It's all-inclusive. So that show will be viewable by the general audience. Channel members will be able to engage in the chat and master builders will be able to come on to the live stream using StreamYard. You don't have to, pay for anything. All you need is a StreamYard account, totally free to sign up. You just click a link that'll be shared with the master builders in that tier. So super exclusive. Again, sign up to become a channel member, a master builder, if you really want to take your experience to the next level. But we're not talking about channel memberships. We are talking. Well, we did talk about channel memberships, but right now we are progressing through some of the most important and memorable moments of all 47 of the live streams. We talked about the 5 hour and 22-minute live show, which was the longest one. And, we talked about that, or at its core, the live show will go on a 2.5 week break. That's about 3 Saturdays. That's going to give me time, or during that time, I will be working on the restructuring of the show, setting up new equipment, getting the software back up and going, setting up all the new gear. But most importantly, getting back to a weekly upload schedule. So I do try to publish at least one video a month and 2 or more live streams. But for the most part, I want to get back. Before, it was a bitter trade-off, because before we kicked off the live show, I was on a fairly consistent schedule of publishing videos once a week. Once I introduced the live show, started live streaming, it introduced a new level of content around the content I was already programming, so that the content I was already creating. So that meant more time to dedicate to delivering said content or said value in a live format. So that hampered my ability to deliver consistent weekly uploads. So during this 2.5 week break, I'm not only going to be working on overhauling the aesthetics of the live show and set up new gear and equipment and testing it out. Most importantly, testing it out. Like, I need time to actually do that to make sure that the launch of season 2 is going to be a glorious spectacle, not only for general viewers or just our general audience, but also, most importantly, for our channel members, because channel memberships and just subscriptions in general is a core part of my strategy to becoming a full-time creator and managing a full-time as a full-time revenue stream, as a full-time creator, and a consistent revenue stream, if you will. And we haven't even got started on Patreon, because I totally get it. You're like, why do you need YouTube membership program and a Patreon program? I totally get it. I'm going to answer that question here really fast. Maybe you didn't even think about it, and you're like, oh, it just hit you. Yeah, why do you need that? Or you were pondering and you were thinking about it. Well, for starters, I could tell you the Patreon, going to be branded as Inside the Lab Dark, is a totally different experience. In fact, all of the content that will be presented to Patreon subscribers will not be available to YouTube channel members. Most of the content is exclusive to channel members right here on YouTube, with the exception of being able to sign up for the Discord, which even then, channel subscribers there who are subscribed to Inside the Lab Dark, or who are on a Patreon tier, a particular Patreon tier, will have access to a specific Discord chat room, which is going to have video chat and text chat. And it's going to be called Inside the Lab Dark. So there's going to be benefits outside of just what you get here on YouTube over there on Inside the Lab Dark. And on top of that, channel memberships and super chats aren't available to everyone and on the globe. It is region locked. So you may want to support the channel, financially or monetarily, and you're unable to do it on this platform here on YouTube, but you still want to support the channel, which, if that's you, I totally appreciate you. Again, small amounts add up in a really big way. So Patreon is to allow you to sign up for a part of this Inside the Lab subscription model that is going to be delivering even more exclusive content over there. After Zoom panel after parties that are going to be private and super informal. I mean, if you're of age, if you're of legal age in your area to consume alcohol, hey, it's going to be just an informal party. It really is. And that's just one of the biggest tiers, aside from being able to connect with me at an even more personal and intimate level. So the Patreon membership is going to be so different from the YouTube membership that arguably you may find yourself saying, I want both. I want both those experiences over on Inside the Lab Dark and as a YouTube channel member, because you still very much get loyalty badges and access to custom emojis and custom gifts. But again, during that 2.5 week break, I'm going to be setting up and testing new equipment and testing new gear, testing new software, making sure everything looks good on you guys and gals in, make sure the chat's functioning properly, make sure that it actually functions as a live show. But do know the goal is from the very moment you tap that thumbnail or you set the reminder, which again, please, 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 I recommend that you set the reminder for all Inside the Lab live streams. Oh, sorry if you guys heard that. For all Inside the Lab live streams, rather that's well, the pop-up live streams aren't scheduled, but um, if you send YouTube the right signals that you want to be notified of my content, then YouTube will even push out those notifications to more and more of the subscribers here in the channel. But for all scheduled live streams, especially special live streams like anniversary based ones or milestone based live streams, definitely set the reminder for those, as that sends YouTube the positive signals that even if you don't set the reminder for a particular live stream, they will still serve you the notification that I went live because you sent them the signals that you like consuming this content from me as a channel in that way. So um, yeah, I'm going to be working on upgrading the aesthetics of the channel, the branding, and trying to get back on a weekly video upload schedule with the few videos I have outlined and edited, and I've shot some of it. I'm in the editing process or I'm in the process of editing them as we speak with a highlight thrown in between. And you may even see some new changes to the videos as we start to represent and give our special mentions and special shout outs to channel members in the add up builder tier. Excuse me, because again, add up builders get special or special shout outs in the description box of all videos, and and a call to action or in a text based or a graphic based special shout out and recognition during all videos. And master builders are essentially live stream sponsors here on the channel. If you're like, Lab, that's a hefty price point, like $24.99 a month. That's an expensive commitment. What exactly am I going to get from that? Aside from being able to again come on here to the live stream and say hello and show us your build, tell us your pain points, tell us your story, and a lifelong discount on all merch, right? On all merch, and the special shout out during at the beginning of live streams, the middle of live streams, and at the end of our live shows, right? And it's a spectacle. It's going to be a spectacle. So do know that you are supporting the channel in a really, really big way. Doesn't matter though, because channel members aren't required to consume this awesome content that we have scheduled to come up to round out the year and beyond. Like, I am all into this. I am super committed. Whether you remember my story or you know my story or not, I'll share it really fast. But from 2009, when I really dabbled into creation, was in 2009. 2009, I set up a game studio. I licensed and formed an LLC, a game studio here in a neighboring state. And we published one game. We got one game off the ground. And I said one day I'll play it. I'll do a special. Maybe that'll make for a perfect members only live stream, or not a members only live stream, but a live stream where members only can chat, but it'll be viewable to the general audience. But maybe I'll do a live stream where I'll play that game that we actually were able to design, program, and publish out to the wild, aka the internet. But I've worked on developing games for about 10 years, 10 11 years, from writing to scripting to animating 2D sprites and 3D models, rigging them. I've worked on that workflow for the longest time, and it started there. So, and I've learned from the mistakes I made along the way when I was curating that game studio. We ran a small team. Some of us were local. I had the opportunity of working with some high school friends and people I didn't know that I interviewed and brought them on as team members, and individuals all over the globe. It was a really fun experience that I think about it every day. I'm glad that what I was able to take from that experience, I was able to apply it to this initiative, to this brand, and make sure that the next time I wanted to serve a product, that product in this case being online video, online content, the next time I served a product, that it was going to be entrenched in value, and that it was going to be packaged in a certain way that's that induces growth. Because if you're not growing, then that means you need to make some change along the way to experience that growth. If you plant the seed and you don't water the flower, nothing's going to grow, right? So, during that, to double back to what I was saying, over that time or during that time, I will be working on getting back to a weekly schedule. It's something that I really want to get back to doing, and that's creating quality content along the way. Um, because and I had this really interesting cool quote that I keep telling myself, that no matter what, right? No matter what, that is change. Change is the only constant. Change is the only constant. And most importantly, regarding change, the content is the content is the one constant that will change for the better. Earlier in this live stream, early in the season finale, I had talked about that, do I want to do live streams and present content in different formats outside of what we've done over the previous 47 live streams, each with different topics and different conversations, or revolving around different topics and different conversations. So do know for season 2, we're pushing that even further. 47 more new conversations and topics revolving around PC gaming and tech and hardware, helping you solve your pain points, helping new enthusiasts and gamers break out onto this platform. Speaking of change, TMZ, let me get caught up here in the chat really fast, because TMZ says, can't complain if it works. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes ghetto is effective. I'll say it. Sometimes ghetto is effective, and you're right. If it works, you can't complain. You can't complain about that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let me just drop the old adage. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right, TMZ? And Cliff says, I got a hell of a deal on that i5 9400F with MATX motherboard for $50. All in used market. All on the used market. It's getting better. The used market is getting better. That is a heck of a steal. That is a heck of a steal. Much like the 3800X you were able to pick up. That was a heck of a steal too. I'm a little jelly because I've checked the used market and I see 3600s going for about that price point over there on the used market, or 5600X is going for about 260, which not bad still, still not bad, but man, that's incredible value there for any user, as a backup system, maybe a future system upgrade for your child, for your daughter. You never know, but the used market, it's getting better, but it's a very, very slow process. It's not getting better fast enough or quick enough to encourage new builders and new gamers, new PC gamers into the mold, or ascending that mountain, the mountain that is the pinnacle of PC, the pinnacle of gaming that is on the PC as a platform. The used market needs to get even better, in my opinion. The used market needs to get even better to make it as viable as it was even a year ago, a year and a half ago. I still see RX 570 selling for over $200. The used market in terms of CPU and motherboards, I will admit, I will stand corrected and admit that has improved. You don't see super scalped, Ryzen 5000 series CPUs anymore. And of course, you don't see newer CPUs like 11th generation and even 10th generation CPUs selling a great deal. But like Cliff pointed out with that 9400F, you can come across some really good bundles between an 8th generation or a 9th generation CPU and Z390 or Z370 motherboard and save, some money there to apply it and put it towards a halfway decent used graphics card. As Cliff says, I got the R5 1600 AF, a GTX 770, and an R5 2600, and an i5 9400 in Mobo, and a 3700X. Working on getting a few builds out finally. Nice. So those are all. I mean, the GTX 770. It's a viable graphics card, especially if you're in that tier we were talking about earlier. 1080p, low settings, medium settings, depending on the game. In the Ryzen 5 1600 AF, slightly better bend, 6-core 12-thread Zen 1 R5 CPU, and a 2600. Nice. Those are all very, very, very good CPUs for your money and what they're able to achieve in terms of performance. Nice. That's all good stuff, Cliff. Thanks for sharing that with us. But again, the content is the one constant that will change for the better. And in fact, one bit of advice I kept telling myself along this journey from creating live streams is that change is the only constant. That's the one thing that should be procedural, that should be ongoing, nonstop. To change is to grow, is to evolve. Champion Zone, it's good to see you, John. What's happening? Oh, John, it's been a while. What's happening, brother? It's good to see you. Hope all is well for you out west and the family and your daughter. The Champion Zone, who's John, somebody who worked with me with that game studio I was referring to earlier, said, I don't know when I'm going to find a 3090 for a reasonable price. Yeah, and reasonable price is so crucial because I know in our last live stream we talked about that, WASD moves. Cliff actually was the one who dropped on us that Best Buy and Micro Center had experienced massive GPU restocks. And I did look into it after the live show, and I saw and noticed that a lot of the GPUs were very much still marked up by the manufacturer, and there was still limited availability. The Best Buys, at least in my general area, were all sold out. You couldn't. They were all sold out. There were no graphics cards available. And even Micro Center just said limited availability, and you had to call. So it just said unavailable online. There were like a lot of 1050 Ti's, I will say, which a very decent graphics card. One of my first modern graphics cards. The turn of this whole journey as a PC creator was a 1050 Ti with its 4 GB VRAM buffer. An ideal card for 1080p high settings, even by games by today's standards, close to 60 FPS on average, 50 to 60 FPS on average, depending on the game and the graphic settings you play it at. But a lot of 1050 Ti's were in the house over at Micro Center, and a few 6900 XTs or 6700 XTs and 6600 XTs, but they were still about 35 to 45% more than what the MSRP was. So it's still a little messy over on the GPU side, and it's likely to continue to be that way into 2022 and beyond. But yeah, champ, I don't know if there will ever be 3090s for a reasonable price anytime soon. We could very much be looking at 4090s, an RTX 4090, instead of more 3090s being fabricated. But I thought about doing an updated re-review of my 3090 and actually, testing it out in newer games or at 1440p with another video topic, which I'm not going to disclose a great deal. You're just going to have to make sure that you are subscribed to catch that bit of content. I see we had a few more people join in, and I know we haven't plugged in a while, but if you haven't yet, hit the like button for me on your way in or on your way out if you're unable to stay for the full duration of the live show. And hopefully, if you haven't yet, if you're here, you're watching, you're lurking, you're watching the replay, hopefully even during our season 1 finale live stream, I had would have been entertaining or educational enough to have earned your subscription. Friends and fam, I want to earn your subscription, but not only is it important, or is just as important to earn the subscription, but it's also just as important to maintain the subscribers' expectation to want you to keep you subscribed here to the channel. I haven't really experienced backwards growth, and I don't pay attention to the second number in the subscriber count anyway. I just kind of look at the first three because that's all YouTube shows you anyway, on the app especially. So I kind of look at that, but I don't. We're growing. I think we just broke the 2,500 barrier, so that's awesome. But not only is it about subscribing, but it's also making sure that I retain you as a subscriber. But again, on your way in, hit the like button for me. It's going to help get this video out in front of more people. I want to get caught up here in the chat really fast, but if you're just now joining in, I just want to inform you that we are celebrating the season 1 finale of the live experience, our weekly live show, and gearing up for season 2, which is going to launch in September, as the show will take a 2 week break, or 2.5 week break. I have new equipment, new gear. I don't want to disclose too much because, again, channel members will get the bulk of that information. The process has already begun. I've already made enhancements and improvements, or investments that will enhance and improve the show, most importantly the live show, because the idea did go all the way back. The idea is the moment you press the thumbnail. I went on a tangent about setting a reminder and being a subscriber and all that other good stuff. But the moment you click set reminder, or the moment you go to tap on the thumbnail and come into the live show, it's going to feel like a completely different experience. Same script, different cast, but it will be different. So let me get caught up in the chat here really fast. Cliff says, oh, and almost forgot about the 3200G APU going in a general use PC though. Oh, I'm not going to tell you too much about that CPU because I might be doing a video on it. We're going to dive deep into that 3200G because it could be picked up for a heck of a price right now. Champion Mode says, yeah, man, thanks. I've been working Saturdays. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're able to tune in this time for the season. Ironically, for the season, the season 1 finale of the live show. But again, I've invested in the hardware. I invested in some camera gear, and making a big leap over with the live show and changing the format. And that's what we're celebrating for this live stream. It's very much in the same format that it was, with the first ever episode number 1. We talked about that, right? Episode number 1 was this live stream here. Maybe you've seen it in your sub box when I launched it, but this thumbnail was the first ever live stream thumbnail I created for that live stream. All right, let me get caught up in the chat here really fast. Sorry, it was moving a little quickly. And normally I would review it on YouTube's backend, but I've just tuned out from that monitor because YouTube's backend is acting wonky on me. It hasn't even updated to tell me how many people are watching. So, but you gotta love it, man. Murphy's law. But it hasn't disrupted the flow of the live stream. We're still rocking and rolling with the season 1 finale. But Cliff says to Champ that, yeah, Micro Center is your best friend. We all love Micro Center. Matter of fact, if I could do this high school style, like, fam, we would all just go on a field trip. I know Last Rights. I'm not sure if Last Rights is here, but Last Rights is a fellow Marylander, and we're within the same vicinity of the Rockville Micro Center, and that's the one I go to. But like I told Last Rights, we're going to connect. We're going to link up, and I'm maybe try to bring you guys and gals along the way, maybe by doing a mobile live stream, like a live mobile live stream, and we all go to Micro Center together. But man, oh man, you gotta love Micro Center if you love anything tech and hardware related, especially just tech in general, because there's so much more than just PC hardware in those stores. But just tech in general, it's an awesome place to be. There in Best Buy, quite naturally. Champ says we don't have a Micro Center out here in the Seattle area. Closest one is in Cali. Wow. Cliff says, yeah, that stinks. Love Seattle, by the way. I lived up in Kent for a couple years, missed that area a lot. I like the rain. My understanding is it rains a lot in Seattle. But yeah. TMZ says to Champ that I thought there was a Micro Center in Portland, but I was wrong, Sally. Oh man, that sucks, TMZ. You guys are so, you don't have the opportunity of getting to a Micro Center, man. That's a field. It's a trip worth taking on. Like, grab your loved one, grab your life partner, grab your mate, and stop by a Chick-fil-A or whatever the next high-end level of fast food that you can get your face and mouth in front of, and head to a Micro Center, man. If you have some bucks saved up to even just walk out with even the smallest of trinkets, definitely, go with the intent to spend, because chances are you're going to find stuff there that you want to buy. I know I always do. In fact, with the mini ITX build video we did, and I had to make a trip to Micro Center. I was so proud of myself. I went into the Micro Center and made my way straight out. I just was one track minded. I was narrow. I had tunnel vision. I knew where the CPUs were, what I needed, and I knew they had it in stock. I knew it was there. The gentleman walked up, said, "Hey, can I help you?" I said, "I know what I need. I want that CPU. I don't need anything else. Please ring it up." And he told me they had 3080 Ti's. I started talking to him about it. I said, "Ah, no, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I'm going to want to shop. I'm going to want to, buy things that is just going to sit for a while." That's been the struggle, is trying to keep up and get back into weekly videos. That I have a lot of hardware that's just been sitting around that I'm ready to review. Most importantly, friends and fam, I don't just do reviews, y'all. Let me switch back here, because it's more so a revisit. It's more so a revisit. Because if it's 6 months past launch, a year past launch, the question I want to answer for you, the viewer, is it even worth it? Is it worth it now, 6 months, 12 months down the road, especially if the price has come down versus a newer alternative? Is it worth it? Cliff says, it's tough, Lab. Lots of peeps are still keeping tech stuff at arm's length. Still carrying the frustration. Yeah, I know they're still capitalizing off of the misery and of the GPU and the silicon, tech demic, but all this too will pass. This too shall pass, and we will get through this. We will get through it together. I still will make sure that the content is geared towards helping users who, even if they have to spend, because it's expensive. PC gaming isn't expensive. I mean, just a central component to PC gaming is expensive. PC gaming has always been expensive. Even during the time when you could have bought a PS4 for what, $249 or $299. You know how much it would cost to build a PC on that level? More than $299, that's for sure. PC gaming has always been expensive. A core component to PC gaming costs more now than ever. So it's modified the price or the budget one would need to dive into it, even with wanting to build a system that's under $800, $700. Excuse me, but that's most importantly with a dedicated video card. And shout out to Cliff again for the super chat. Man, I can't wait till I get my thing set up, man. I don't want to say too much, because it's all part of the season 2. It's all part of season 2. Everything that's going to change. There's so much change undergoing with the live show. But shout out to WASD Moves for the $1.49 super sticker, actually. I appreciate the super sticker. Thanks, Cliff. Super appreciate it. Every amount, all amounts, it adds up. The smallest amounts add up and help in a really big way. Super chats, super stickers are super appreciated and super welcome. So thank you, Cliff. I appreciate you, brother. Always supporting the channel and dropping those supers. And Champ says, yeah, we had fries, but they shut down when I got here in March of this year. Ooh, that sucks. That sucks. And pie. Now you got me wanting pie. As Cliff shares some pie in the chat. And TMZ says to Champ that the fryers is gone. And Champ says, yeah, the fryers just shut down randomly. I got to see it one time before they shut it down. Mrs. Ma says, as long as we are hitting the Old Navy afterwards. That is so true. And I hate clothes shopping. You shouldn't say hate. Let me see if I can rant. I ain't good at ranting. But if there's one thing I do not enjoy, that is shopping for clothes. I think it's boring. I think it's uninspiring. I do not like it. It's so boring. You're just sitting there. You're staring at 5 different shirts. Find the shirt that fits you. Pick it up. and head out the door. I do not like shopping for groceries and clothes. I find those two. I feel like those are chores, adult chores. Paying bills is an adult chores. Filing taxes is an entrepreneur adult chore. Raising my kids, because I do have a quite a large size family. But man, oh man, out of all the adult chores, I do not like shopping for clothes. I do not like grocery shopping. Thank goodness for this online order. Go to the grocery store and pick it up. You ain't gotta go into the store. You barely even gotta talk to the person. If it's a Walmart, they put the groceries in there for you. If it's a smaller maybe chain like a ShopRite or something, you know, they push the cart out to you, and the state, depending on your state, you might have to bag it yourself with reusable bags. But I don't have to go in the grocery store. I don't have to stare at the shelf and look at 7 different hams or 3 different peppers or like a whole bunch of different. It's just, I just do not like shopping for groceries and clothes. But man, oh man, yes, to get to the daggone Micro Center, Old Navy is first, so you know what that means. We got to go to the Old Navy first before I go to the Micro Center. So I'm twiddling my thumbs in the Micro Center, and normally I'm like either watching videos or I'll just be like, tweeting or just creating community tab posts or writing, maybe making notes, anything to kill time and the monotony of doing that particular chore, clothes shopping and grocery shop. I really don't go in grocery stores anymore unless it's for like a quick to pick up 2 or 3 things and head outdoor and self checkout. But I'm not really pushing carts with a lot of groceries in it anymore. I just don't like grocery shopping, but I love shopping at Micro Center. Hold on now, that sounds super contradictory, but I love shopping at Micro Center. I could spend a whole day in Micro Center. First time I went, I was in the Micro Center for hours, right, Mrs. Ma? Oh, it was in there. It was it was a wow, man. I spent maybe 2 hours just looking at cases. An hour looking at power supply units. We spent like an hour over on the side in Rockville. As soon as they're speaking of restructuring, they're changing, they're restructuring their store. But the monitors are over on the right side with the laptops, and I remember that's the first time I played The Witcher 3 on a 1440p monitor, and I was sold. On an ultra-wide 1440p monitor, that was the first time I played The Witcher 3 on an ultra-wide monitor, and the first time I did it, I was sold. I brought the 1440p monitor I'm using now thereafter. But yeah, I told you guys and gals I can't rant. So mini rant over. But Cliff says, love it. Spoken like a true wife. Lad better be hitting that Old Navy. Yeah, man, we got to. And maybe I like to pick up a shirt, but let's face it. We have our own branded store. So really any clothing, if it's not, bottoms like jeans, any clothing, I'd rather just purchase from the store. When I do that, it's for zero profit, although I still have to, pay for the material. So I'd rather just buy clothes that way, right? So maybe if I might want to pick up a jacket or a hoodie or something like that. But for the most part, no, I don't like clothes shopping. But I will, Micro Center can be an 8-hour event, But yeah. Cliff says, Lab, but they probably think the same thing about staring at PC parts for hours. I know my wife feels that way, but I feel you, especially clothes shopping. But they're computer parts. They're so much cooler than just a static object like a shirt hanging on a mannequin or a dress that's in 3 different colors or varieties. I can't say that word. Or looking at the clearance section and sifting through that. Or jeans, all that stuff. It's computer parts. I'm not going to look to my left, y'all. If I could change the camera, put it on Mrs. Mod, I would. She's giving me the 3rd degree. But it's hardware. It's more interesting, right? The different motherboard factors you could see, touch, pick up, GPUs, prices. You could study the cases. There's an array of different cases that are open box, and you could just touch, and it's so different because especially here in modern times one of the ways we shop for parts, it's, with images and text, we don't get to touch the hardware before we buy it, even if we're uninterested in it, because we're just fanning out about it, right? We're just fanboy out and about the hardware. Uh, you can't get hands on when you're shopping for these parts and components online. So when you go into a micro center, you're able to see that monitor in person, rather you're uninterested in playing in 4K, rather you even have hardware that's capable of, gaming at 4K. You could look at that, you could see what games even look like in 4K. It's hard to do that while you're shopping for a 4K monitor online. Because first and foremost, if you're not even on a 4K monitor already, you cannot differentiate between 1080p and 4K. To view 4K content, you need a 4K monitor. Images don't do 4K justice, depending if they're raw images, but most images are heavily compressed online. Are heavily compressed online, especially when it comes to online merchants who have thousands and hundreds of thousands of listings and images. It's compressed. They can't truly show you the level of fidelity you get on a 4K monitor or a monitor higher than 1080p. You just can't. Now you go to Micro Center, on the other hand. What's more interesting, community and chat, live replay viewers, and those of you who are present with us right now during the season finale, which we're vibing, man. I love it. We're having a good time. But what's more visually appealing? Staring at a glorious 4K monitor running a beautiful game like The Witcher 3, or a t-shirt that's on sale. Think about it. T-shirt that's on sale, glorious 4K monitor running Witcher 3. I don't know about y'all. I'm staring at the 4K monitor. It's a shirt. Take it off the hanger or take it off the rack, throw it in the cart, go to the next item. If you're there, I'm an objective individual. I need 5 shirts. I'm going to go into the store if I'm not, picking up merch from our lifestyle store, which you can find down in the link below if you want to check out merch and pick up merch. It's a very helpful way to support the content. But I don't know about you, but again, if I had to pick between staring at a 4K monitor that's running a game as detailed and rich as The Witcher 3, or even Cyberpunk 2077, the game is just it's a tech demo. It doesn't play very well. I don't care how many updates they want to introduce. The game should have played how it was at launch. This is insane how much CDPR has dropped the bomb with Cyberpunk 2077. But the game does look good. Nobody's going to argue that. It may not play well. That's debatable. But nobody's going to argue that the game looks really well, especially at 4K. So what would be your fan? What T would you fancy? 4K monitor running Witcher 3? Or are you going to go stare at t-shirts and jeans? Clothes shopping is boring. Now, you could be into fashion, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And I hate to be, stereotypical, but like WASD pointed out, when it comes to your life partner, your significant other, if they're not interested in computer hardware, they're not going to be interested in Micro Center. They don't care. And Mrs. Mod has a custom PC, and we all play Fortnite together. She's a casual gamer, but Mrs. Mod has a PC. But if your life partner doesn't have any interest in that hardware, just like I don't have any interest in shirts, although I do wear them. I don't have interest in going to shop for jeans. I do wear them, right? Bottoms, socks, all that stuff. I don't want to make it an event when I'm clothes shopping. Micro Center needs to be an event, not going to shop for clothes. But I totally feel you. Let me just get caught up in the chat here really fast. As Cliff said, yeah, I totally get it. I try to pull Mrs. Mod now, since this is a one-man squad essentially here and inside the lab, with Mrs. Mod, my wife, being my partner, if you will. But I try to pull her into the hardware just to show her, get excited for just like, hey, look, hey, check out this 1080p monitor. What do you think at 75? Can you tell the difference between this monitor is running this game at 75 hertz? This monitor is running, this is a 244 hertz panel. What do you think? Is there a noticeable difference going from between the two? Or I say, hey, look at that motherboard. What do you think? Does this one look cool? Or I think I'm gonna look at that PC because some micro centers might have a fully built PC on display, and I might point it out and say, hey, what do you think of this? Of this piece of hardware or what have you. But when it comes to shirt, don't ask me, do you like this shirt? Hey, what do you think about this shirt? Is it nice? I don't care. It's a shirt. You gotta wear one. Wherever you go, except if it's a beach or private property. Most public places, you gotta have a shirt. You gotta wear a shirt. Who cares? Does it look good? I don't even care what the price is. I like to spend or waste money on high-end hardware. Not shirts. Not shirts. Cliff said, free Mrs. Mod Old Navy. Free Mrs. Mod Old Navy cart. Which one? Which Old Navy cart? It's a trade-off. You want to go to Micro Center? We got to stop at Old Navy. If you're here, you might be, you could be a guy or a gal. Doesn't matter. Whatever. It's all inclusive here. You could have a guy spouse that says, man, the heck with PC hardware. I don't care about that stuff. You could be a female content creator and you're likely using a desktop or a Mac. Or you need to invest in lighting because Micro Center sells lighting. They sell microphones, keyboards, mice, headphones, gaming mats, RGB fans, SSDs, cases, tools, right? And you just partner, whether you're a guy or a gal, not to sound stereotypical, but you could be either of the two. And you could care zero craps about PC hardware. You could be all into clothes shopping. I'm telling you, it's boring. Okay? This could come off as an opinion, but clothes shopping is boring. Okay? It's boring. And I'd rather be in a Micro Center than an Old Navy or a I can't even think of any other clothing stores. Kohl's. I don't want to go there. I do like designer stuff, but I don't want to shop for it in the store. I will buy designer stuff online. That's what I do. I want something designer, buy it online. Clothes shopping is boring. All right, let's get back on subject. viewers are dropping off like, what the hell is Lab talking about? Let me get caught up in the chat here really fast, but Cliff said he ain't lying. He ain't lying. You know, like, come on. Y'all know, come on. Y'all know you game recognized game. Y'all know I'm spitting truth. Cliff says, I don't know why, but being in Micro Center as an enthusiast tend to be more open speaking to one another. Yeah, and even the people who work there, at least from the Rockville one, my experience, they seem to be, fairly knowledgeable individuals. It's a positive environment. I'm always curious when I'm there, like, is there any other creators that's here? I always wonder that when I go. Next time I go, maybe I'll try to, go on with some. I normally do wear the merch when I go, but maybe something more that speaks more to me being a YouTuber, if you will. But yeah. Cliff says, I'll have random conversations with some strange dude. We don't even know each other. But we talking about PC gaming like we're lifelong friends. And boom, there you have it. That's what the foundation of the live stream, as we are celebrating the season 1 finale of the live stream. Again, that's the ending of, that's the end of this season's story and the beginning of many others. We are no way, shape, and form hanging up the live show, fam. It is receiving a drastic overhaul and change. But most importantly, the connections, the community engagement, the interactions. This is what the live stream is predominantly built on. Those core factors. Like Cliff mentioned, go into a Micro Center. Obviously, this isn't a Micro Center. I wish I even had an ounce of Micro Center-like inventory in stock, but one could dream. But just being able to conversate and have conversations as PC gamers and enthusiasts, regardless of if you have a high-end system, an $800 system, a $400 system, You have a video card, or you don't have a dedicated video card. You spend $2,000 on your system, right? Like Sparta Rules 1993 has that mini ITX build. I missed that build. God, that build was wow. Anyway, right? Regardless of how much you spent on your system, all is welcome here, fam. All is welcome. You will not be shunned. You will not be ridiculed. You will not be made fun of. If you are here for any of those things, then you're in the wrong place. Which I trust to know that everybody's here. We all are like-minded individuals. You all have known from the very start that this has been all about an all-inclusive experience. This is what the live show, this is what the weekly live show is all about. A live experience, a live interaction, making connections, helping one another out, right? Cliff says, Lab's laying the groundwork for a new monitor. It's already in my Amazon cart. It's already in my Amazon cart. She just doesn't know. It's already in my Amazon cart. I'm just behind on the content that when I get it, I want to review it or revisit it again to find out if there's any value potentially for you. Now, I ain't going to tell you what the monitor is, the resolution, refresh rate, price, brand, manufacturer. Just make sure you're subscribed. And if you're not getting my notifications, I hate recommending this to you, but it might help. Try unsubscribing and then immediately resubscribing to the channel. This could send YouTube a signal that you want to be notified even more of all the content. So if you're not getting content, if you're not getting the notifications for the content, especially the live streams, because you're going to want to be notified, and I will make sure to push it on the social medias. It will be scheduled out when we launch, when the season 2, episode 1 of the live show commences. Mrs. Ma said, I might not be too bad right now because I'm in the market for a new case, but I definitely have a cart ready for Old Navy. Yeah, Mrs. Mott is definitely in the case. And we talked about doing a Wonder Rig 2.0 update. So, again, there's a lot of different videos playing down the pipeline. The first time we built Mrs. Mod system and when I had to service the HD, I was, again, heavy in my rookie days. I didn't have a lot of the equipment that I'm using now. And so I do want to revisit her system. And it also needs to be clean. But yeah, maybe. LOL to the free Mrs. Mod's Old Navy card. That might need to be on a t-shirt, right? Cliff says, Old Navy did nothing wrong. Free Old Navy. No, Old Navy was put before Micro Center. That's where they effed up. That's where they messed up. When they put the daggone Micro Center after the Old Navy. Although Best Buy is before the Old Navy, but I normally say, what's the point of going in Best Buy when I know there's so much more I can experience in the Micro Center? I am like wasting time in the Best Buy is time taken away from Micro Center. So I don't go to the Best Buy. I just want to get the Old Navy trip done and out of the way. Okay? I want to go in there and spend 35 minutes looking at the clearance rack. Go in there and spend 45 minutes looking at, the athletic wear and what have you, jeans, bottoms. Okay, I just want to get it out the way so we can get into the Micro Center and really look at some true merchandise, right? Come on now. 4K monitor running The Witcher 3, max settings, or clothing rack with t-shirts on it. As a person, I'm not even going to say as a gamer, as a person, which one would you rather look at for an hour? Clothes or a 4K monitor running The Witcher 3 with the graphics settings turned up? You decide. Now, see, we had a few more people join in. Welcome to the season 1 finale of the weekly live show. On your way in, be sure to hit that like button for me. It's going to help get this video out in front of mad people, y'all. And also subscribe if you are new to the channel. If you found the season finale and you're here with us live, hopefully I can earn your subscription. I am educational or entertaining enough to have earned your subscription as a subscriber here to the Inside the Lab YouTube channel. And of course, shameful plug, but take your experience as a PC gamer and subscriber to the next level by signing up to become a channel member. You get access to cool exclusive loyalty badges like you see on WASD Move's name, and access to emojis and gifts, among other perks. On top of that, you get to unlock exclusive YouTube content right here. Channel members, again, will be able to or will be updated throughout the creation process as the live show continues to evolve. But I think I'm over and done on my mini rant about clothes shopping. I might be upsetting some avid fans of people who like the clothes shop, 'cause I notice every time I start down talking shopping at Old Navy, it's like Old Navy sends its bots to come into the show, assess the situation, and dip out. No, I'm just joking. But back on the core topic of the live show. But this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. This level of interaction with the community, and just providing value on top of value in the form of entertaining content and educational content. Right? That's what it's all about. Two types of viewers that come to this platform. You want to be informed or entertained, or three. I should say three. You want to be entertained. You want to be informed. You want to be both. That is my goal. Is to be both. To continue to get better at doing both. Cliff says we want an inside Old Navy channel shirt. Unbagging edition. Y'all are funny. She knows now I'm busted. I sense Old Navy trip coming up. Yeah, well, again, that's the trade-off. We go to Old Navy, I'm going to Micro Center. We're going to go spend money. We are going to go spend money in both department stores. One may be a little more than the other. Given the nature of Micro Center, one might be a little more than the other, but we are going to go spend money in both. And Cliff says, "Dude, that was strategic placement, having them close by those guys know what they are doing." Yeah, you're right to take the conspiracy to the next level. They knew. They say, hey, the guys and the gals may want to go to one, and more may want to go to the other, but more often than not, to get one to go to the other, they're going to put them within close proximity. That you can't say no to either one. If one wants to get to that Micro Center, hey, I want to go to the Micro Center. Okay, but we're going to pass the Old Navy. Oh, I want to go to Old Navy. Okay, we're going to be close to the Micro Center. There's no getting around that. So they are probably within close proximity for a reason. Throw in the Best Buy on top of there. Throw in the Best Buy too. Which could be a nice, fun place to casually shop for both parties, right? If you like movies and audio, things of that different nature, there's so many different other tech products in the Best Buy that you can, window shop, casually shop, pick up a new phone, tablet, camera, if you will. But yeah, they knew what they were doing. You want to go to Micro Center? Well, you got to pass the Old Navy, and you can't argue with stopping at the Old Navy if you got to get off the exit anyway to get to the Rockville Micro Center. And I'm like, well, if you want to go to Old Navy, we're going to be close by the Rockville Micro Center, right? It's 15 minutes down the road. We got to go there too. So yeah, they knew what they was doing. Thunder says, "What's up? It's good to see you though. It's good to see you, LT. What's happening?" I got to take Thunder. Thunder is one of my kids. I have to take Thunder to a Micro Center. Never been. Wow. Come on. What kind of tech creator am I? I gotta get my kid into a Micro Center. But okay. So many ran over clothes. All seriousness aside, though, serious. You're free to enjoy what you want, what you are able, and what you want to enjoy and what you're able to enjoy. If that's clothes shopping, it could very much be you, and that's okay. I'm just poking fun because I just find clothes shopping to be really boring. But when I'm shopping for new hardware, even if it's just online, hell, that's even funner than shopping in a department store shopping for clothes. I'd rather shop online for hardware, for crying out loud, versus shopping for shopping for clothes. All right, but again, clothes rant off. I see we had a few more people joining in, and you're actually officially tuned in for the season finale of the season 1 live show. We went over a few important historical facts about the live show. Again, I want to welcome you to hit the like button for me on your way in. If you're unable to stay for the full duration of the live show, though you've tuned in for an ideal moment as we segue into some of the other important factors that I want to lay out as the show goes on its seasonal break and we prepare for some of the upcoming changes, so you come at an ideal time as we segue over into that part. But we talked about how the longest live show was 5 hours and 22 minutes. The first ever live show aired on August 15th. We configured a $600 gaming PC. We've done 47 episodes. The season finale makes for the 47th episode, if you will. And going live is something I wish I would have done much earlier or much sooner as a creator. Something we talked about. We also talked about how the show format, the structure, has remained the same since launch. Nothing's changed. Everything you see has been the same way since the first episode. Go back and look at the anniversary live stream. That was an hour. We did a cool little montage up to the most current live stream. Go back and you'll see in those live stream moments that it's been the same aesthetics. It's been the same format. It's been presented to you, the viewer, the audience, the same way. Sparta Rule says, I'm still salty you got a micro center close by. Yeah, Sparta Rules lives far away from from micro center, and I couldn't remember if it was Bad Habit that didn't live by one at all, or was that the Mrs. Zombified? Sorry, forgive me for not remembering, but there was a member in the community that didn't live close to one at all. I'm thinking Spider Rose might have been you as well, and Champion Zone as well doesn't live close by. I'm not sure if Champ's still on the stream, but there could be other alternatives to a micro center if there isn't one close to you or in your area. For example, I know Champ says Friars closed down, but there could be a similar retailer that might be a little smaller that you could still very much go to handle most of your needs. But I do want to add that while I am close to one, there aren't any micro centers in the state that I grew up in, Delaware. There aren't any micro centers in Delaware. None at all. That's interesting. I wonder if there was maybe some politics involved with that. But if you lived in Delaware, you would have to go to Philadelphia, to a big city, or you would have to go to the Rockville or Parkville micro centers. So they're not everywhere. They're not everywhere. And but if you're fortunate enough to live by one, I highly recommend you pick up hardware there wherever applicable, because they are priced lower than, say, most online merchants, but that's largely in part because they don't ship. So that's the trade-off you get there. Cliff says Best Buy just had a good sale on 4K UHD movies, picked up a few highly recommended Earth Nature shows for the fam, and Shadow for the adults, an awesome Kung Fu movie. Nice. Speaking of Kung Fu movies, I do want to check out the new Shang-Chi movie. We don't buy Blu-rays, or not Blu-ray, well, 4K and Blu-ray, if you will say. It's been a while, but because we mostly just stream a lot of our media and content and movies. But I do want to check out Shanghai and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I do want to see that. Oh, TMZ says it's me. Yeah, see, so it's like, they're not as abundant as they should be, or there should be more. But again, I'm wondering and thinking that there could be some politics involved as to why that is the case, why they're not everywhere. But again, just doubling back to the meat and bones of the conversation and the sunsetting of season 1, earlier in the show that I said that the content is the one constant that will change for the better, and that's delivering the show in a highly engaging way, one that sparks that sparks interest and leaves you walking away feeling a particular emotion. Again, I akin the live stream to a roller coaster. Most of us been on roller coasters, I like to imagine. If you haven't, man, you don't know what you're missing. Go get on one. If you can do it safely, right, within your public health guidelines for your state or municipality. Get on a roller coaster. But roller coasters, when you get on a roller coaster, most of the time not feeling, you get off the roller coaster not feeling the same way you did before you got on. And that is the goal for running the show here on the channel, is that I want you to come into the show, or I want you to leave the show not feeling the same way you did coming in. Maybe you've had a bad week. Maybe you've had a bad day. Maybe you've had a fantastic week. Maybe you've had a great day. And you want to share that with us. That is what I enjoy the most of going live. Okay? But the content is the one constant that will change for the better. It's it's like the live show is running well. It's running well. It's going great even. But as an experience packaged inside value, it's like how can it get better? How can I enhance the value? How can I enhance the viewer's experience? Because it's a live format. The show is designed to be engaging, it's designed to spark emotion, it's designed to pull you into the conversation. Everybody comments so long as it is respectful and within YouTube's community guidelines. The things you say can get me in trouble. Reading back some of that last troll's names and just because they were inappropriate, it could wind me with a community strike. I've never gotten one. I try to stay as PC as possible, advertiser friendly, the proper vernacular. But so long as it's appropriate, all comments are welcome, and you're welcome to add to the conversation. No comment is a dumb one. No question is a dumb one. Okay, ignorance is bliss. But it's not like the live show wasn't running well. It was going great. 47 episodes, and I am enthusiastic about every single one. But as we round out season 2 here, or season 1, I keep messing that up. As we round out season 1 here, I ask myself again, how can the show become better? Like, I want it to be an actual show. I know I've dropped this nugget before, and I'm not going to I'm not going to drop any more spoilers, but we will be launching a podcast before the end of the year. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But it's going to be very different even from the live show. The live show is just that. It's like it's a live show. It's a show. It's more than not just a live stream. Yeah, it's a live stream given its nature and format. But in publication, in production, it's a show. It's a live experience, right? Like what you would watch on TV. And that's where the content will improve and get better. That's what it's all about. Delivering valuable, informative, and helpful content. Going live has made me a better creator, a more effective teacher, and it has allowed me to grow the channel and the brand, the Inside the Lab brand, to all new heights. From unlocking monetization here on YouTube, from networking and interacting with members in the community all over the globe, working with subscribers in the community like Sparta Rules to complete his build, right? Talking to the subscribers in the community who are over on the Discord, Converse. If you want to sign up for our Discord, hit me up after the live stream. But the weekly live show has been a staple in the content strategy here on the channel. And to change is to transform. Okay? Growth is procedural, and you must chase it to obtain it. You won't grow sitting still. You'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take. To change is to transform, much like a butterfly, right? Undergoes metamorphosis. You break down the material, that is, the overall aesthetics, everything you see here right now on the channel. You break down the material, introduce formulas or a formula that will enhance and evolve the experience. You put it back together, you deliver it, and you watch it fly. Watch it sail out into the world. This will come in the form of season 2 of the Inside the Lab live show. And I can't wait to share these changes with the community and to start the next chapter or in the live experience, in the live show. Super excited to have you all be a part of that experience and a part of that journey. Exciting times. Let me get caught up in here in the chat really fast before we slow the ride down. As TMZ says, editing has been on point. Looking forward on what's to come. Again, that really warms my heart, TMZ. I put a lot of out, maybe not inside of the weekly the highlights with our repurposed content, although it's repurposed content with a purpose. And even then, I try to leave that inside the lab editing pizzazz, if you will, on the weekly highlights, although it's already recorded content that I'm enhancing or I'm supplementing to the community. But when it sorry about that, when it comes down to larger productions like the mini ITX build or the Asus ROG Strix RTX 3090 revisit video we did, or early on when I started my first series, which that was on the Threadripper 1920X. I met a lot of you on that video or on that series. When I did that video, I was ready to take the production to the next level, and I'm always looking for ways to take the production to the next level. The changes that are come to the live stream will also trickle on and in a positive way impact our videos on demand. But editing, TMZ again, thank you for the feedback on editing. I take a lot of pride, and I shouldn't, but I should take pride in the editing, but I don't want to let the community down or try to outdo the last video. I'm like, man, what can I do in this video that I didn't do in the last one that could take it, show the community something they haven't seen before, or show the community the same thing in a different way. That's always the goal with the way we edit the videos, or the way I edit the videos here. I edit all of the videos here on the channel. I don't have an external editor. Besides, I wouldn't want one. Contrary to popular belief, editing is one of the favorite parts of the process to being a content creator. I know there's larger content creators who maybe don't have time, but so long as I have time, I want to make time for editing, because as a writer and director and producer is essentially what I am, especially of the live show, like writer, director, producer. Nobody better understands the flow of the story than me, right? Because I have my hands touching so many different aspects of that story. Editing is a core part of how I tell the story. And I have my own editing style and like my own signature. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And again, TMZ, thanks for pointing that out. Cliff says, sounds good, lab. Yeah. Season 2 is, again, I know you're a channel member, Cliff, and channel members are going to be in the know. And I also wanted to add that there still will be live streams. But this is the last time you will see the show in this format. So, as we end the ride, just take it all in now. Or at least this will be the last time you see the show in this way. Obviously, the replays will be left up, but there will be no more live shows that'll look like this. This is it, y'all. This is it. I'm not going to tell you what all is going to change and how much of that will change. I do want it to be spontaneous as much as possible. Even channel members, you guys and gals, will get small, slow drips of that information, but you will definitely be ahead of the curve. It will be updated throughout the seasonal break. On social media to our general audience, I will at least a week before let you know when the season 2 episode will go live. You'll likely see it scheduled here on YouTube. You'll see it on the community tab. I will email insiders who are on our email list. And if you're not on our email list and you want to sign up to be notified of upcoming content, like what I just mentioned, you can find all of the helpful links down in the description box below. You can find them at the end of this live stream, from signing up to become a channel member, 30-day free Amazon Prime with no commitment, right? You can just try Amazon Prime for 30 days. And of course, the links to the merch and all of that other good jazz. Past some of the content, some of the videos I mentioned here on the season 2 finale. But this is it. And like I said at the beginning, it's bittersweet. Like it's almost like we're saying goodbye, but saying hello. That's why the title of the season 2 finale was, it's the end of this season's story, right? The end of one story and the beginning of many more. That's essentially what it is. And I just look forward to sharing the new format, the new show structure with you, the audience, and you, the community. But all right, I think it's time to end the ride, to slow it down, and bring it to an official end for this season. Again, it feels like you should cue the sad music because I'm I'm not getting sentimental or anything like that. Sorry, that might have been unpleasant, unsettling, but it's just bittersweet because I know what's coming. It's just we're going to be, we won't see each other for a couple weeks at least in this format. But I was saying that we are still very much going to go live. It's just not going to be in this format. It's going to be part of our pop-up live stream series. I don't want to put an exact number, but to float out a general number, I guess, if you will, would be at least 2 to 3 pop-up live streams. That's however long it takes to finish Alien Isolation, start the next game in our pop-up live stream series. Still want to finish Alien Isolation. And I don't want to, and I can't imagine not going live for that long either, right? So usually after a week, when I flex the live streams out a week, I usually get like, oh, I missed going live that week, and I really feel like I missed out on a huge opportunity. And that opportunity is engaging with you, the community, engaging with you, the audience, in this format and in this way. But yeah, the rides, the ride in this format, the roller coaster rides get modified, maintained, and enhanced all the time, and that's what we're doing to this roller coaster ride here. That's enhancing it and updating it, modernizing it, so that that experience, that ride, is even better, right? Again, the live show was going great, but I said, how can we make it better? So I want to end with a special thanks and appreciation to all of the subscribers who have made, who have made it possible for me to host and operate all 47 of these live shows, live streams. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. I wouldn't have been able to do it without your commitment as much as mine. This is a 2-part commitment, myself and yourself. I commit to preparing for the live stream, setting it up, doing the legwork. You commit to sharing and investing your time into watching and engaging with the live stream, whether that be as a replay viewer or as a live viewer. You've invested just as much as I have in all 47 of these live shows. We've had great moments. We've had okay moments. We barely even had bad moments. But most importantly, in a weird way, we've had each other. Community is strong. Remember, unity starts with you. And that is such a core compound word, if you will, in the word community. Okay? You can't have unity without community. And you can't have unity without you. 47 live streams. I'm super stoked and super excited for what the next 47 live streams have to bring. Special thanks to you. Shout out to everybody who was able to make it for the live stream. I know we had a lot of viewers who dipped out, but very much still shout out to WASD Moves, Cliff again. Thanks for the supers. TMZ, Thunder. Let me just scroll up here. Sparta Rules 1993. Let me see. Champion Zone popped in, said what's up. Tech for Your Needs. It was also good seeing Tech for Your Needs as well. Han Slomo was able to make it. Morning time over where he's at. Last Rights also popped in and said what's up. But if you're still here, do let me know. Do let me know if you're still here. But shout out to all of you. A lot of you have been a part of this journey since the beginning, and I thank you. I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Knowing that the show was good enough to have you guys and gals tune in, and even have viewers pop in who aren't regulars, but they still very much pop in and show support for the channel. Knowing that there's individuals who are interested in the show in that way or in that form motivated me to come in every week to deliver the content, to deliver the message, to deliver the mission. And I can't wait to kick off season 2. All right, now I think the ride is again coming to an end. I'm gonna slow it down for the last time here in season 1. It's been great. We have some videos that will be published in between the 2.5 week break. So make sure you're following me on social media to get updates, and make sure you're subscribed to catch that content in between. Hit the like button for me on your way in or on your way out if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I do hope to catch you all in the next one, which for the live show, which will be season 2. And of course in our regular videos and all other pop-up live streams and content. So with that said, catch you in the next one. Be easy. Live experience, season 1, last season finale. All right, let's roll those thank you credits for the final time, friends and fam, and I will again catch you all in the next one. Be easy. Shout out to you as well, Cliff. Cliff says, y'all have a good night. You too and the rest of the lab fam. You as well. You and the missus and you and your family, you guys enjoy the last bit of whatever summer we have left. But I appreciate the supers again. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for the support, Cliff. You guys take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace. TMZ says nice. See you all on the other side. Yes, for sure. TMZ, thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one. Be easy, fam. Cliff with the be easy. And you know what? We're going to get that on the shirt. We're going to get that on the shirt, Cliff.